Hey everybody, it's Stefan here on Genderqueer Chat. This week we're talking about educating others about gender issues and what we do besides talking on YouTube. Yeah. So I'm involved in like a lot of different gender stuff. I participate in lots of live journal discussions and YouTube channels, and I write blogs on my Facebook and my MySpace and stuff like that. I am also like a co-facilitator or whatever of Tallahassee Gender Chat, which is a group that gets together every month and talks about gender issues. It's mostly trans people, but also partners and, anybody else who wants to talk about gender stuff. I try to make it as open-ended as possible so that everybody can feel comfortable. And I try to make the topics kind of more general instead of trans-specific. So, part of what I do is just generally being out as genderqueer and as trans. When people ask me questions, I don't get all defensive or like, fuck you or whatever. I try to answer them as honestly as possible. I mean, I haven't had anybody just ask questions just to be an asshole. Like, I don't know, I guess some people might do that, but most people who ask me questions about stuff like genuinely like want to know or are curious or like have never heard of it before or stuff like that. So I think it's important to keep that dialogue open so that they can learn and that they just don't, go through life not knowing about something and just being ignorant about it. So, yeah, like I said, I'm out to pretty much everybody. I'm out to all of my family and all my friends, and I don't know, I guess it's a little bit easier for me because like most of my friends are queer, so I don't really have to explain it to people who have no idea whatsoever very often. Most people have like some idea, even if it's the wrong idea. So sometimes it's easier to correct people than it is to like explain a brand new concept to them, but sometimes it's better to start from scratch, I don't know. I also participate in panel discussions on campus. I had one this past spring, and it was in the dorm rooms for like the RAs and all the kids in the dorms, stuff like that. And so it was mostly people who were straight, presumably, and didn't really have any prior knowledge of transgender or genderqueer issues. So that was really interesting. We had a panel of like 5 or 6 people, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer. So we had a lot of different perspectives, and it was good. I'm kind of shy about talking in public in general, but for some reason, like, gender is easy for me to talk about. So, I mean, even if I don't know the answer, I can still, talk pretty well about the issue. Yeah, so, yeah, and I think it's also important just like to speak up in everyday conversations, even if it's not about you, just about gender in general. Like, sometimes, like, you don't need to say anything, but, like, when somebody makes, like, a remark that's, like, misogynistic, or, girls can't do this, or boys do this, or whatever, like, just saying, like, not all boys do that, or not all girls do that, or, whatever, challenge people's assumptions that, like, they don't think about. So, it was really interesting the other day. I was with a group of people, and they were talking about how to explain sex to their kids, and like they're like, well, you know, trying to like, kind of avoid like the actual like active sex issue. They're like, well, it's whether you're a boy or a girl. And like my first thought, like it wasn't an appropriate time to bring it up, but like my first thought was like, no, that's not sex, that's gender. Sex is whether you're male or female, but then not even that's true, and it would digress into like this whole other thing, and bring the conversation way off topic. But like I think about stuff like that all the time, and so yeah, I don't know, there's just so many opportunities to challenge people's assumptions of what's, you know, masculine and feminine, or male and female, or boy or girl, or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I try to educate people as much as I can. I would really like to be a professor of gender, queer, sexuality studies someday. Um, Still trying to get into a PhD program, so until then, I guess I'm just going to try to like write and talk and build up my resume and do as much as I can in the meantime to prepare myself for that. But I mean, I've had lots of different majors, I've done lots of different things, and gender is the one thing that just consumes my free time. And I think it's what I'm supposed to do. So, alright, I hope that helps out a little bit. And in the spirit of education, if anybody has any questions out there in YouTube land, feel free to write a video response or make a comment or message my personal page or whatever, and I'll do my best to answer that.